Hello, brothers, sisters, and family. I appreciate God for the privilege to share His word with you today. Beginning for today, I'll be doing a four-part series about Queen Esther, and today's going to be the part one. And I've been reading through the book of Esther recently, and the Lord has been showing me certain things that I felt I needed to share with you all. So today's going to be the part one, and the subtopic is God cannot be taken unaware. God cannot be taken unaware. As I read through the book of Esther, I discovered that men can be taken unaware, but God cannot be taken unaware. Things can take men by surprise, but nothing takes God by surprise. If something takes you unaware, it happened when you weren't expecting it and wasn't prepared for it. God cannot be taken unawares because He's omniscient. I mean, He's all knowing. You and I don't know what will happen the next second, minute, hour, or day, but God knows. The present, past, and future are known to Him. God knows what will happen even before they happen. And based on that, He does certain things ahead of time. Neither Esther nor Mordecai knew that a day would come when a decree would be made for the Jews to be destroyed. But God knew. God knew that a time would come when Haman would plot to eliminate the Jews, his covenant people. For this reason, he caused circumstances to warrant Esther becoming queen, so that through her, the plot of Haman may be nullified. God knew that it would take the intervention of someone in the palace for the decree to be unturned, and so he had to position Esther in the palace ahead of time. When the decree was made for the Jews to be destroyed, it was Queen Esther that Mordecai ran to for help. And I want you to know that if Esther had not become queen, Mordecai would not have been able to run to her for help, and there was no way she would have been able to have access to the king to plead on behalf of the Jews. So it could be said that God sent Esther to the palace ahead of time so that through her, the evil agenda of Haman to destroy the Jews may fail. There are certain things God does in our lives today because of what is ahead of us tomorrow. God knows how to prepare His children for the unknown and unexpected. God may not tell or show you what will happen tomorrow, but He will prepare you for it or put people in your path to enable you what go through it. Think about Joseph for a minute. God sent him to Egypt ahead of time and positioned him in the palace so that through him the Israelites may be preserved in time of famine. I love the story in Exodus. There's an account in Exodus chapter 15, verses 22 through 25. The Israelites journeyed through the wilderness for 3 days without finding water to drink. And when they got to Mara, they found water. Now, it was not drinkable due to its bitter taste. Moses then cried out to God, and the Lord showed him a tree. Moses picked it up and cast it into the water. The water became sweet. Everyone was then able to drink. There was a problem, bitter water. But right there was also its solution, a tree. Who made a tree to grow close to the water? And who showed Moses the tree? It was God. God made the tree to grow close to the water, and it was meant to take away its bitter taste. Aside of the fact that nothing takes God by surprise, it is also very clear from different stories in the Bible, few of which I've made mention of, that nothing happens by accident. Whatever happens was purposefully planned and divinely orchestrated by God, who sees the end from the beginning. Things don't just happen, they happen for a reason. There are certain things you would know about God. There will be no place for fear, worry, or anxiety in you, no matter the situation you find yourself in. You will not be afraid of tomorrow or the future because you know that your Heavenly Father has a plan and is in control. You will not fear or worry because you know within you that even before the problem or situation presented itself, God already had a plan and provided a solution. Even before Haman thought of and made a plot to destroy the Jews, God had already positioned Esther in the palace to thwart his plot. Even before Herod gave the order that all babies should be killed, God had already instructed Joseph through an angel ahead of time to flee to Egypt with a child and his mother. Even before there was famine, God moved Joseph to Egypt and made him a prime minister so that through him the Israelites and all men might not die of starvation but be preserved. Even before Goliath presented himself, God had already prepared David in the wilderness to confront and slay him. Even before Moses encountered the Red Sea, God gave him a rod with which he parted the Red Sea. Even before Jesus and his disciples were asked to pay tax, God had already prepared a fish in the sea with money in his mouth. See, even before there was famine, God had already prepared the ravens and the widow of Zarephath to provide food for Elijah. See, there are certain things that you are going through today. There are certain things God is doing in your life. There are certain places that God is placing you. There are some people that God is putting in your path. You may not know why, you may not understand why, but a time will come when you will go through certain things and you will look back and say, oh wow, now I see why God took me through that. Now I see why God relocated me. Now I see why God put these people in my path. The things God did, the relocation, what God took me through, the people God put in my path were all meant to enable me go through what was ahead of me. See, nothing takes God by surprise. Your problems are neither a problem nor a surprise to God. God has a plan before the problems came to our attention. God made ready a solution or a way out long before the difficult situations or problems presented themselves. What you are worrying about or trying to figure out has already been worked out by God, who sees the end from the beginning. God never told us to worry one bit about it or to try to figure it out ourselves, but to fear not and to trust him. Repeatedly, God will always say, fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not. Why? Because he's in control and he has a plan. See, even before Lazarus died, God already had a plan to use the occasion of his death to reveal himself as the resurrection and the life. Except to go through trials, except to go through tests, how can we truly know who God is? There is no reason to live in fear, worry, or anxiety, because the problems you're currently faced with, there is no reason to live in fear because of the problems you will face tomorrow or the giants that will come your way. See, David never knew that a time will come when he will confront a giant, but God knew and prepared him ahead of time through allowing him to encounter a bear and a lion in the wilderness. You will notice that when Saul said that David cannot fight Goliath, what was the testimony of David? I slew a lion, I slew a bear in the wilderness, and if I could slay a lion and a bear in the wilderness, I can slay this giant. Remember, before Haman made a plot to destroy the Jews, God positioned Esther in the palace to nullify it. Before the problems will present themselves, God has already made a way, because nothing takes him by surprise. He sees the end from the beginning and finishes before starting. So this is the first lesson from the story of Esther, and thinking to this time, I will pose the part 2. God bless you.